Greetings all and welcome back to another episode of the What the Fuck is a reborG podcast. This is episode 4. First of all, I'd like to say a thank you to all that viewed, gave a like, haven't had another comment since the second video. So, go ahead if you want to leave a comment, go ahead. If you don't, we're just going to keep on pushing. As always, I have my co-host Boy here. He's in the house and he's actually asleep. But once again, we're going to continue from last week with the Boy facts. One thing about Boy that he absolutely hates is squirrels. I've seen him try to climb trees, walls, cars, all that stuff to a ultimate fail. Climbing up a wall or a tree and instantly coming right back down. He knows he's not a cat, so I don't understand why he does that, but he hates squirrels. He has absolutely no problem with birds. We walk around, for his walks so he can, relieve himself, and the birds get a pass. I don't give a fuck what they're doing or anything. Birds don't interest him at all, so he just lets them go. And another thing is, Boy has never bit anybody as a dog. I've only seen him try to bite somebody twice, and both of those times it was me. First time he tried to bite me, we had a barbecue at my grandma's house, and one of my uncles gave him a fucking chicken bone, And I read on the Cesar Millan website that you shouldn't give dogs bones because, it already fucks up their teeth to break down the bone. And those sharp edges from bones, could cut up the insides and mess up their digestive tract and things of that nature. I don't know if it's totally true, but I don't let him dabble in bones like that. But I tried to take the bone out with my hand, and he took a bite at me. He didn't get me, but I thought it was funny. I've never seen Boy violent toward anybody because if he's barking at you, he pretty much just wants your attention. A bark pretty much equals come over here and pet me. And the second time he almost bit me was when he was staying with my sister. His favorite place to be was under her bed in the back near the wall, the end of the bed, like where she sleeps at, where people rest their head at, that part that's against the wall. And he was sleeping on one of her sandals and she was trying to leave the house because that was the only pair of sandals she had because she had to make a quick run. She didn't want to put on any shoes. So I didn't know. I wasn't paying any attention. So I reached under there and he almost got me again, but I didn't know. He's territorial over where he sleeps, especially under the bed. I've tried to talk to him while he was under there a couple of times and he didn't do anything but growl at me. But outside of that, wanted to give y'all a quick pet history. Talk about Boy a lot. I haven't had a lot of pets. I've owned 2 dogs. When I was younger, maybe about 5 or 6, my dad bought 2, I want to say German Shepherds. Mine was named Scrappy and my sister's was named Daytona. We only owned them for about a month. And they broke out the yard and went and ran on an adventure never to be heard from again. And then we owned another dog named Teddy. Maybe 2 or 3 weeks after we had got Teddy, he was a chow. And we were moving to a townhouse. And they wouldn't accommodate the dog. So we let him stay with my grandmother. So when a couple of years later, when we moved from the townhouse and we moved into a house that was next door to my grandmother, Teddy was big as shit. Like, it was no internet. I didn't know too much about dogs because when I left, I was about 7 or 8 years old, I want to say. So Teddy was still a puppy. We called him Teddy because he looked like a teddy bear. So, he was all small and cuddly and shit like that. But when we got to the new house next to my grandma and I seen this gigantic dog in the backyard, he like a shaved lion. Teddy was big as shit. And another thing that I didn't know about chows, they're mean as shit. Teddy didn't like anybody but my grandmother. He would play with like the kids when we used to come in the backyard and mess with them, but it was only a certain amount of time. He was real, after a while, leave me the fuck alone. I want to lick my balls or I want to eat or drink some water. But the one person he loved the most was my grandmother. And to watch her walk a dog will pretty much get dragged down the street, because it wasn't like Teddy was even being that aggressive. He was just that big. My grandma's small. My grandma's probably about 4'10". So if the dog stood on his hind legs, he would easily dwarf my grandmother. So just to walk her was funny. Never had too many other pets. My mother hates animals. Not hate as in, she enjoys baby sea clubbing or anything like that. She just don't want animals in the house. And I remember asking her, going down a list of animals that I could possibly have, and every excuse was, they nasty. I said, Mom, let me get a snake. He nasty. And I don't want no rats in my house to feed him, because my mom has a absolute fear of rodents. I said, Mom, let me get a gerbil. Rat family. I ain't letting them in my damn house. Let me get a bird. They nasty too. I don't want them either. So I ain't have a lot of pets, but I still got a love for animals. I fucks with them. I enjoy them. I'm not one of those types that would try to own a lion or no shit like that. But dogs, cats, gerbils, house animals, I'm cool with that. I ain't got no problem with animals. Let them do what they do. On to our next subject. We're going to talk about the NCAA tournament Final Four set. Villanova, Kansas, Michigan, and Loyola Chicago. After watching Loyola Chicago play, I'm kind of not surprised that they're in this position in the Final Four, because they play with a lot of confidence and they have a really good offense. Like it's a nice motion offense, like a Spurs or Golden State type offense, where they're constantly in motion and they will throw up the shot. If they're open by an inch, they will launch that three. And with the confidence they're playing with, I could see them going on, but I've also seen where confident teams have that one game where the shots aren't falling like they were before, and they don't have anything to counteract that. So it'll be interesting to see how they match up with Michigan on that aspect. Michigan, I didn't watch too many of them. I respect the coach, John Beilein. I know, he recruits who he wants. He's really not into star-studded players or anything like that. He wants players that's going to be there. And, when you have players that are there, you can build upon that. That's why he's had tournament success, since he's been the coach at Michigan. Really going to enjoy that game. On the other side, we got Villanova versus Kansas. And as a Duke fan, I wasn't mad that Kansas beat Duke. I mean, I saw the writing on the wall. Grayson Allen was cold yet again. Duke ran the zone, and Kansas was destroying it. I'm telling you, after about the fourth three-pointer from Malik Newman, I was thinking that maybe they should get out of zone, but, they didn't. And I really didn't agree with letting Grayson Allen take the last shot. I know he's your leader and he's your senior, but I'd much rather they had went with what got them there, and gave Bagley the ball. The guy's been great all year, and, just let him do something, because they didn't have anybody to, guard him since the big man for Kansas, Azubuike. I'm not going to say his name again, so that's the only time. He had already fouled out, so the paint was available for him to get those 2 points. But, oh well, good coaching. They won. I'm going to enjoy the game against Villanova. They kind of got the same thing going on, where they have a nice mix of young talent and upperclassmen who can play ball that are part of the rotation. So, I'm going to look forward to that, enjoy that game. I just hope it's not any ass whoopings, because at this point, you don't really want any ass whoopings, to take you out, because I will quickly turn on the ass whooping. I've missed some great comebacks in my day because somebody was getting their ass whooped, and I just turned. But outside of that, I'm just hoping for a good game. In NBA news, Markelle Fultz played last night. Had about 10 points and 8 assists. It was good to see him out on the floor. He had been hurt most of the year, and everybody saw through social media and YouTube the problems that he had with his shot, which was weird to see. I didn't go deep into the story as to why that happened, because there was nothing wrong with his shot when he was at Washington. He has a pretty good looking jump shot. He was hitting it at a pretty good clip, so I was really surprised just to see all that, how that transpired. But it was good to see him play, go out there with a little bit of energy. He's got to get back into game shape, so it's going to take a while for him to, do something that people are going to be like, But, good to see him out there. Gives Philly some hope, because it wasn't that long ago. Philly was in the dweller, okay? And they kept saying trust the process, and it's finally come to fruition. So it's good to see a team come up. That was a perennial bottom dweller. They stuck with the coach, and they just, like they said, they just trusted the process that they were going to get better. And they did, man. Shouts out to them. NFL news, Ndamukong Suh signed with the Rams, which I think is going to be a bit dangerous. Right now they have two good corners, and they already have the defensive player of the year, Aaron Donald, and to add a force like Ndamukong Suh, because I can tell you this right now, he will want to match Donald. I think he's going to give more effort with this team than he did the Rams. I mean the Dolphins, because this is the better situation. Rams just got out of the playoffs. They came up. They got a strong offense, good coach, good offensive coach. He can make things happen. Great defensive coordinator in Wade Phillips. Another one of those coaches who's only fit to be the coordinator and not the head coach. But, when you put all that together, they can make some noise. Once again, the NFC is going to, be interesting. Like, football is going to be interesting, period, with all the moves that's going on. And more basketball news, the McDonald's game, I think, is Wednesday. And that's always a game I look forward to watching. I've been watching it for a while, I want to say since maybe Alonzo Mourning or something like that. Back when it wasn't, that big of a deal. It was just most of the kids had already been committed and knew what school they were going to, and nobody was jumping to the NBA. So, it was a nice casual game, and then the business of the NBA got involved, when Garnett went to the league. So when he opened up people's eyes, from players, coaches, GMs, all that you could actually jump and make it happen, It was a pretty good thing. I enjoyed seeing it. I know the NBA didn't like it, and they can't blame the players for that, because I'm not a fan of the one and done rule. Either let them play or, let the kids play. But that's up to the GMs and owners and coaches of those teams that made those bad picks of high school players. Okay? I don't blame the player. I blame the GM who saw maybe a center like a Kwame Brown have a good game. But it's an all-star game. Nobody's really putting that 100% effort into it, because, it's not a championship. It's an all-star game. It's supposed to be fun. So if you can get a double-double out of that, and you base that as to why you would draft somebody and a couple of workouts, it's not enough. That's why it's real, it's a real thin line, when drafting a high school player, because you just don't know. I think you need to have the pieces set in your organization if you are going to draft somebody like that. Because most of the ones that did work out, it was somebody there to help them. Garnett worked in Minnesota because Kevin McHale was there. For those who don't know who Kevin McHale is, because that's a throwback player. He's a great post player, great post moves. He could score back to the basket with the best of them, and that's of all time. So for Garnett to be under that, he would have to, it has to be some growth in it. Even if he didn't become, the future Hall of Famer that he is now, you knew that it was going to be some growth there. When it came to Kobe, he had Jerry West, he's the logo, had somebody to learn under. He had veteran players that could help him out, because, as a teenager, you can't go to the same places. So, and your only focus should be basketball. I know you want to go out and have some fun, but unless, that club is willing to risk it, it's not going to be too many places you can go, and sometimes the players probably won't let them go, Same thing with like Jermaine O'Neal. Jermaine O'Neal was at the end of the bench for Portland, but he learned from Rasheed Wallace, Arvinas Sabonis, Brian Grant, Scotty when he was there, and Mike Dunleavy's a good coach. So by the time he got to the Pacers, he had already been through the gauntlet of a big man. So when he got there, he was instantly good. When he got his chance to start, he proved himself to be an all-star. So, I was just saying, if you're going to draft a high school player or any player, make sure you have the pieces there that will help that player become, best case scenario. Because if you don't, you could end up with, a Kwame Brown situation or Usman Cisse, Corleone Young, and, a number of other players who jumped straight to the league and didn't work out too well. As I was thinking about the McDonald's game, I also went back to my Xbox 360 and played College Hoops 2K8. That was like the last 2K college basketball game that came out. And fortunately, there are people out there who are updating the rosters, which I really I thank you guys a ton. I don't know anybody by name, but I thank you and appreciate you for that. And I've been playing the season up there because in that one they have the summer tournaments you can play in as well as the all-star games. And I was as I was playing the game, I was thinking like, this is one of my favorite games because you can do so much just in the franchise mode that you don't even need to go online to have fun. Like, just playing the game. Like, College Hoops 2K had everything you needed. And as far as college basketball, it had the summer games for high school players. They had the Midnight Madness. They had a weekly TV show. They had the postseason. Like, it had everything in it. And I want to clear up a comment I made. I want to say, what was it, the first or second episode, that it wasn't a lot of games to look forward to like there was back in the day. I was just saying that for me. Of course, there's always a game that's going to be released that interests somebody. I wasn't interested in what Sea of Thieves that was recently released, but as I go through my friends list on my Xbox, I see that, some people are playing it. So I'm not saying that for everybody. I was just saying that for me. For what I like and what I play, it's not a lot that, garners my attention, because most of the games I'm playing come out in the August, October, November range. I'm more of a sports game player now. I've gotten old. I don't have the patience for an action adventure game. I'd much rather just watch people on YouTube do it. So that's not my thing. And while we on the topics of games, somebody asked me what was some of my what's my favorite gaming system. And as far as gaming systems go, I do have a favorite, and it's the PlayStation 2, because it was the first system I bought for myself coming up. My dad bought the systems because, he was a gamer too. Real heavy at that time, So most systems we were getting, like, when they got released. We didn't wait till Christmas for the most part, or my birthday or anything like that. We usually just got them. So we had the Atari, we had the Genesis, Super Nintendo, we had the 64, the PlayStation, we had the GameCube, PS2, we went through, we even tried Neo Geo, but that's mostly had fighting games up there. So, we really weren't, that didn't last long. We had the Dreamcast. Like, at one time I had the 64, the Dreamcast, and the PlayStation. Like, that's just how he was. We always went in. And I think the only one I got for Christmas among all my systems was Genesis, which is my favorite Christmas of all time. But I'll save that for another episode. But my favorite was the PlayStation 2 because I bought it myself. I just purchased the college football. I can't remember the year. It had Carson Palmer up there. And when I got it, me and my boy Chuck and my boy Dane, much love to you, rest in peace, we finished the whole season in like one night because my parents had went out of town. that night, to go do the grown-up stuff, you know what they was doing, but that wasn't no concern. The concern was this season, I had Texas A&M, Chuck had Virginia, and Dame had North Carolina, and we played the whole season, and that was just one of my, favorite gaming moments, because, we just stayed up all night eating pizza, drinking soda, and just gaming, man. That jump was just fun like that. And that was also one of my favorite games. And when it comes to favorite games, I don't have a one, but some of my favorite games coming up were Tecmo Bowl, Contra, mostly the sports titles, Coach K. I enjoyed the Marios, all the way up to Mario 64. I think that was like the last one I dabbled into, but after that one I didn't do it. I enjoyed Shenmue. Like it's countless games that I played coming up, and it's good that now we have the technology that I can go back and play those. If your computer's good enough to do an emulator, I say by all means, man, go for it, man, and relive some of those good moments that you had, man. Some of them are even in Flash, so you don't even have to download anything. I've played a couple of NES and Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo games just sitting at the computer, sitting at my laptop playing them. So shout out to that, shout out to new technology. And amongst my favorite games, I most recently had a birthday. And a weird birthday fact. I went to look up. What's that, boy? Oh, okay. All right. I'm back to the show, right? Okay. I was online looking up, anybody else who shared the same birthday with me. And the first person who popped up was Elton John. And I fucking cried laughing because I don't know why, but that was just funny to me that I shared a birthday with Elton John. And when they put this, it had his whole name up there. Apparently, he has been knighted by the country of England. I don't know anything about that, but his name goes as follows: Sir Elton Hercules John. I thought that was hysterical that he had a name like that, because that's not like, I'm not going to say a normal name, but it's definitely not a name you hear a lot about. So, it was just, funny, just to read that, and I suggest everybody else do it, just look up your birthday and see if you share, a birthday with a celebrity or something like that, or if you got like a weird holiday on your birthday, like your birthday is National Peanut Butter and Jelly Day or something like that, you should go ahead and, want to, try that out, just to see. Maybe you'll get a laugh out of it. I did. And as far as my birthday goes, I'm always on the favorites. I have two. One time my parents let me have a sleepover. I want to say I was maybe like 12 or something like that, 11 or 12. And me and the homies, we just gamed out on the 64 all night. It was greasy pizza and good food and soda and all that other good stuff. That was enjoyable. But another one was my 16th birthday. There wasn't a lot of fare with it. I came home from school. I was chilling. And later on that day, my mom came home with cupcakes with dog bones on them. And I said, why did you get the cupcakes with the dog bones on them? He said, because all them damn girls keep calling here. You turning yourself into a damn dog. So here go these cupcakes with these dog bones. Happy birthday. That was real cool. That was funny. I always liked that one. That's always been stuck in my mind. And my mom called me on my birthday early as hell. My birthday was on a Sunday. So, as an adult, unless I'm working, there is no need for me to be up early. I don't see a reason to be up before, 10 o'clock. I don't. I did as a kid so I can watch Saturday morning cartoon, eat some cereal, get my energy before I went outside and played. But as a grown man, there's no need to be up early. And guess who called me at 9:02 a.m. to talk about some happy birthday? And then she said, how old are you? 35? Damn, you old. Like, come on, man. Like, I didn't even have my contacts in, so, I wasn't even in, like, the right place. And, yeah, I have contacts. I have horrible vision. It's a family thing. Mom dead. Grandma wears glasses. So, if I would ever have a kid, I would probably look into a girl's optical history to see, what that's going to be like. But glasses are accepted nowadays, which is pretty cool. When I was coming up, unless you had a decent frame, you had to have a decent frame, like a smaller frame. People didn't think it was a big deal. But now people wear those big ass glasses, and it's acceptable now, which is cool. But she called me early with no contacts in. I'm all confused. Boy was fucked up. He woke up all weird and shit, like, what's going on? But shout out to moms and everybody for the birthday wishes. If you didn't send any, it doesn't matter. I'm 35 years old. I know how old I am. It's not that big of a deal. I made it another year, but I wasn't in threat of not having another one. I don't think too deep on that one. And I'm not into celebrating my birthday like that anyway, because I got that from my pops. I guess because, he grew up poor and stuff like that. Birthdays didn't mean shit to him, so he doesn't, he doesn't celebrate it like that, and that's passed on to me. I really don't even care, just another day to me. Another thing I was into that I just got into recently was like watching old shows. Some of the shows. What's that, boy? Yeah. I don't watch no dog shows. Huh? What's that? You want me to talk about the Yorkminster dog show? I mean, I don't know if the people want to talk about that, but I remember the Yorkminster dog show interrupting wrestling back when I used to watch it. That was always funny. But I've recently gone back and, watched some of my favorite TV shows all the way through. I first started off with Entourage. I really can't tell you why I'm into the show like that. It is a funny show. And I really enjoy Ari rants and things like that and the stuff he says to people. But it's just an entertaining show. I don't want my life to be like that or anything like that. It was just cool to see a guy with friends that he, grew up with, going through, whatever they're going through, being famous and all that. It's kind of like how me and my friends would be, brutally honest with each other, cracking jokes, just the, fun aspect of having those real friends that you came up with, being there for you for this wild ride. I rewatched The Fresh Prince. Don't know why. I mean, it was still funny. A lot of the jokes still held up from like season 4 on. I'm gonna be honest, I'm a first Aunt Viv fan. I always thought they should have never got rid of her because she was sauce. You gotta remember, the first Aunt Viv was a professor in college, dancer. She was tough like the moms that, that I grew up with, my friends' moms and my mom. And, just like, she was like a real mom, even with them being, rich and all that stuff and, living real affluent. It was cool. But then they brought the second one in. She didn't do nothing but complain to Uncle Phil and walk around with the baby. The character didn't have that much to it, so I'm a first Aunt Viv fan. I tried to watch Miami Vice, but that's hard to get online. I guess nobody, they don't have any DVDs for it because the copyrights on the music is a bitch to get through. So that's a difficult task, and that's the same thing going on with New York Undercover on my 90s heads that watched that. I watched it. I enjoyed it. I had fun with that one. That was cool. I like New York Undercover up until the point where they killed Eddie. When they killed Eddie, that wasn't no big deal because, it's a cop show. I expected them to do that. But when they brought Tommy from Martin and the other characters up there, the shit just didn't flow right. I mean, and I couldn't have been the only one because they canceled the show not too long after that. So I know for certain that I wasn't the only one that wasn't feeling this new format. But that's a problem that's going on with New York Undercover. They can't get copyrights for all the music because, you know, they played popular music and music that was on the radio throughout the show. Like before commercials, cut breaks when the crime was being committed. You know, they had live performances at the end of the show, what so-called live. So, you know, that's a lot of red tape and stuff like that you got to get through, you know, just to make it happen. I just hope they can get both of those shows through so I can rewatch them. Because I tried to watch New York Undercover, but the quality, it was like watching an Atari game. It was just a bunch of pixels. It wasn't even a clear screen. And usually I don't mind that because, you know, I'm a pirater. I'll watch a bootleg movie in a second. I refuse to pay those movie prices that I expressed in the first episode. So I will pirate a movie up real quick and watch that. And I'll even watch those bootleg homemade camera versions. And I can't be the only one who watches those because people keep downloading them. It's a space for it, you know. So people wouldn't be out here making them if, you know, there wasn't a demand for them. So I know I'm not the only one who watches those, you know, camera portions. At least they got the decency not to have talking in them like they used to. It's coming up in the, you know, the 90s and early 2000s when the bootlegs was first hitting, and you had to watch out for people who walk by the screen. You hope they don't do it during the, you know, a pivotal scene and block nothing. But like I said, technology has gotten to the point where you can enjoy whatever you want right at your computer, which is always, you know, something that I'll big up, give a thumbs up to, because paying for that stuff is crazy. Because I don't have anything against music artists, but I filled out a 2 terabyte hard drive with music. You think I got enough funds to pay for all that? Maybe here and there, but not as much as I have. I have a lot of music because I listen to a lot of music. Man, I can't afford all that. And I definitely don't want to use my phone all the time to listen to music. And I'm definitely not going to pay iTunes however much you pay them or any of those streaming sites. So if y'all going to shut me down, but you know, I refuse, man. I'm not. That's a lot of music. I can understand if I wasn't into a lot of music like that, I could just purchase things, you know, and just be comfortable with it. But no, you got the catalog that I have. That's a lot of money, and I've calculated it. I don't know the exact amount, but I need a 6-figure gig to do that, and I'm not at that point yet, you know. And speaking of, you know, the music portion, I'm one of those people who catches music on a whim. I know last week I told you I was on a lot of hip hop, and I was, but by the time my birthday hit and I looked up and saw Elton John up there, I had gotten to, you know, more of the pop thing like that, and I enjoy pop music, especially the older versions, like I want to say mainly like the 70s and the 80s. I've enjoyed all of them because, you know, that's just what I do. I enjoy music. Like, if you come through here, you can hear anything at one time. You can hear a Portuguese artist from a person I can't pronounce, to, you know, Eastern European music, to some house, to some opera, to some country, different forms of rock and roll, because, you know, I respect that they have the different genre. You can hear me listen to Motley Crue, then you can hear me listen to Steely Dan, and I'm gonna go to David Bowie, and then I'm gonna, you know, kick it off to Bon Jovi, give me some Zeppelin in, then the Who, then some Buddy Holly. You know, the caveat is different. So right now I'm just really on pop music. Really rocking the Elton John. Since we share the same birthday, I had to show him some love. And I've always been a fan. You know, since I was a kid, my dad used to always have, like, he would always play, like, different stuff. Mainly in the car, because he knew that my sister wasn't into that, you know, some of the stuff, or my mom might not have wanted it to be that loud in the house. So, you know, we would always take trips somewhere, it really wouldn't even matter. Just, going 15, 20 minutes away from the house just to like a 7-Eleven to pick up coffee, because, that's the love of his life besides his family, his coffee, and his cigarettes. And we would just listen to anything. I remember when he popped out the Jamiroquai, Traveling Without Moving. Yo, that junk. Yo. Yo, we was vibing, yo. We was vibing. We even stayed in the car like 20 more minutes after we had got home, out there jamming and stuff like that. And, I got an old school mama. You're not just going to be parked in the front of the house, just sitting in the car without her knowing what's going on. This is her house, her yard. She wanted to know what the hell is going on. So we had to explain, that we was jamming the music. And she said, oh, okay. Just don't bring that loud shit in the house, Shout out to my peoples, man. But, another favorite, I was jamming to Phil Collins. And after looking it up, I didn't know, because Phil Collins used to be a part of a group called Genesis. And when he went to do his first solo album, his first single was In the Air Tonight. Can you just picture like something that epic, something that big being your very first single? That's crazy, man. Like, I'm gonna have to look that up, who has like, the highest charting or the most selling single of all time, their very first debut single, just to see how that is. I just thought that was amazing that was the first song that he decided to put out there. Good ear, man. Getting into some Billy Joel. The Stranger is one of my favorite albums. I really enjoy him. He kills that piano. I've always wanted to learn how to play the piano, and I think at this stage of my life, I think I'll be able to try to find the time to do so. And I don't mind that. I got to start from scratch, but I want to, before I hit 40, I want to at least learn how to play the piano and the guitar, just for my own enjoyment. You're not gonna see me doing those studio sessions, I know, shit like that, or loading up me doing solos on YouTube and nothing like that. That's just personally for me what I want to do, As far as singing, I don't know if I can sing. I don't, I think it would be hard to judge if you can sing yourself, like really, because I know some people say they can sing. And I'd be killing it in the shower, those type of people. But nobody's told me that I can, because I haven't like really done it in public like that. But I'm gonna try it one day. Might even load up a video with me singing just to see what the reaction is. Because if somebody can tell me I can sing, I'd be more open to doing it in public. Like I said, not to make nothing of it. Just to exercise that gift. Make you feel. Make me feel better to know that I'm doing something with the craft. Because even with like a talent I have, like cooking, I don't do it all the time, but every once in a while I'll whip something up just to keep the skills sharp, make sure that I still got some of that talent. But as far as that goes, ladies and gentlemen, that'll be the end of the podcast. Appreciate you for listening. Like I said, leave a like, dislike, comment, subscribe. I'ma still keep pushing, keep doing my thing. And as always, be loved and be easy.